Hey kids, today we're talking about something that doesn't get enough airtime: recovery after a meltdown. Not prevention, not coping in the moment, but what happens after the nervous system has already been overwhelmed and discharged. If episode 7 was about what a meltdown is and why it happens, then episode 8 is about what comes next and why recovery is not weakness, not failure, and not something you can rush. A lot of people talk about meltdowns like they're a bad afternoon or a rough day. But that's not always true. Some meltdowns are acute, some are cumulative, and some are so severe or prolonged that recovery looks less like rest and more like rehabilitation. Today, we're going to talk about that reality honestly, gently, and without shame. Okay? But now, for the broken news. Burnout is still being treated as a motivation problem instead of a nervous system injury. Across workplaces, schools, and families, the advice after overload is usually take a day off, get some sleep, just jump back in. But for neurodivergent people, especially autistic individuals, burnout and post meltdown states don't resolve on productivity timelines. They resolve on biological timelines. Pretending otherwise doesn't speed recovery, it just delays it. Next up, more autistic adults are reporting long recovery cycles after sustained masking. Not days, not weeks, but months. What's often labeled as regression or loss of skills is actually protective shutdown. The nervous system conserving energy after prolonged overload. That's not going backwards, that's the body preventing further harm. And finally, there's growing recognition that rest is not the same as recovery. Rest is stopping activity. Recovery is rebuilding capacity. After severe meltdowns, rebuilding capacity requires low demand, predictability, sensory safety, and time without pressure to perform or explain. That isn't indulgence, it's repair. And now for the word of the day. Word of the day is recovery. Recovery is not returning to who you were before. Recovery is returning to regulation and then rebuilding capacity, sometimes differently than before. Recovery is not linear, it's not fast, and it does not respond to guilt. What post meltdown recovery really looks like after a meltdown: the nervous system is depleted, not calm, not reset, depleted. That's why thinking feels slow, speech can be difficult, executive function drops, tolerance disappears, and even small demands feel overwhelming. Masking during this phase, even lightly, increases recovery time. Masking feels like control, but during recovery, it's additional load. True recovery often requires temporary unmasking, fewer explanations, reduced expectations, environments that don't demand constant response, and trying to make up for a meltdown by pushing harder afterward doesn't work. It just stacks the next collapse. I want to share something with you guys personal because people need to hear it. I've had a meltdown that didn't last a day or a week. I had a meltdown that lasted months, and my recovery took months. The impact on my life lasted close to a year. I wasn't lazy, I wasn't broken, I wasn't giving up. My nervous system was injured by prolonged overload, and it needed time to heal. Recovery looked like rehabilitation: slow return of capacity, unpredictable setbacks, learning new limits, accepting that healing doesn't follow social schedules. And I did recover, not by pushing, by listening. People need to know this can happen, not to scare them, but to protect them, because if you recognize the early signs and take recovery seriously, you can often prevent the long ones. If you're in recovery right now, you're not failing. You are healing, and healing is active work, even when it looks like stillness. All right, you guys, I have ADN, ADHN, OCN, and PTSD, everything but a PhD, and the N stands for neurotype. But I'm not broken because different isn't broken. You guys have a great day and take care of yourselves.